It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Hey there, it's Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and you and I are back together again. Now, on today's show, I want to give you an edge. Yes, I want you to make money in the stock market. Yes, I want you to pick stocks that have the tendency to double every 5 years. Yes, I want you to learn how to trade options successfully. And yes, I want you to keep things simple. So, today's show is called What Are You Trading and Why? Right? Now, a lot of people say to me, well, Tyrone, why do you always preach the gospel of simplicity? And it's not necessarily that I'm preaching the gospel of simplicity. It's just in my life, I learned you can master anything if you're willing to keep the foundation of what you're doing extremely simple. So, for example, when I'm having something built in one of my houses, I always say to the person, like, how are you guys going to put this in? And explain it to me as if I'm 7, right? Because if you can explain how you're going to do a renovation, and all of the components that are required an explanation to a 7-year-old, guess what? I'll be able to quickly digest the information. Now, in everything that is simple, there is complexity, and I understand that. But why start out with complexity? You see, in life, I happen to be one of those people who enjoy a certain level of mastery of any subject that I take a deep dive into. And if I am your most trusted wealth coach and I want to help you, guess what? I want to introduce you to the notion of simplicity and graduate you into complexity. And what that basically means is, hey, I want to teach you the most simple trades you can do to build your confidence and get that income coming into your trading account. And then I'm going to show you some complex ways in which you can make your account explode when the market is bullish. Okay? When stocks are rising is another way to say that in Wall Street terms. So I try to master the art of simplicity in explaining the stock market to people to keep it simple. And as you move along with me, I introduce you to the complexity. That's kind of like where we're going to start off here today. If you're trading stocks, buying and selling and volatility trading, cover calls, you're going to find that you're going to give yourself a major advantage if you can answer some of the questions I'm going to put before you today, which of course is what? Why are you trading that stock? I have a saying in a wealthy investor program that goes like this: never, ever buy the stock if you don't understand the story. Because certain stocks in certain sectors of the market are very volatile, right? Their price changes rapidly during the day. And sometimes when your favorite volatile stock drops, let's say $11, if you don't understand the CEO, the sector, or let's say an earnings report, you're going to say, that stock is down and I'm losing money. Well, hopefully, if you're truly following the wealthy investor approach, you learn to keep your emotions under control, because if the stock has the earnings that substantiate it going higher, the sell-off or the pullback that you may see will probably be temporary. Okay? So what are you trading and why? So let me explain to you why this episode is actually being put out into the universe online. Because I notice a lot of my students are holding stocks, and I say to them, why are you holding those shares? And they go, well, I don't know. It's a good company. I think the stock price is going to go higher. Yes, but can you tell me 3 things about this company that you actually favor? And most of them, and these are people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars, can't tell me why they're holding these shares. That is not a good sign. You are going to make max dollar inside your trading account when you understand the story of the stock that you're trading and or investing in. Let me give you an example. One of the companies that I like and have liked for over 20 years is a company called Microsoft, and the ticker symbol is MSFT, or as I like to call it, Mr. Softy. Okay? Now, Microsoft has been a member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 for quite some time. But the story, the dominant story at the company has changed. So 20 years ago, when Bill Gates was still running the company, he had a saying, Microsoft, the software that runs computers, Microsoft software on every desk in America and every desk around the world. In other words, he wanted his operating system to be dominant, not only in the United States, but also dominant throughout the world. Now, that's a pretty simple mission statement, right? Did they achieve it? Yes, because Microsoft's operating system is the dominant operating system around the world. So there was a time when Microsoft was really in the software business. And then as we got more into tablets and handheld devices, they had to develop an operating system for that sector of the marketplace. Are you with me so far? Cool. Now, one of the reasons that Microsoft is actually a multi-billion-dollar company is because of something called adaptation. Once they started out as a software company and we moved towards handheld devices and then Wi-Fi came in, they realized that software, being highly competitive, was not the next frontier. And the next frontier that Microsoft identified and dominated in was data storage. For who? Large businesses and governments. Today we call it the cloud, which is basically just a fancy way of saying, hey, where are you going to save all of your data? Out on a string of computers where there are, they call them redundancies, where there are redundancies and backup data all around the world. Now, the cloud, ironically, is sometimes computers that are buried 1,000 feet underground in some U.S. town that nobody goes to. And then in some places in the United States, for example, they're in mountains that no one ever climbs, right? So companies that are in the data storage business have found these locations throughout the world where data can be stored in some sleepy town where there aren't a lot of hurricanes or volcanoes or upsets due to Mother Nature. So at any rate, the cloud business has become enormously profitable because we all need our data stored somewhere. Now, think about it. If you're one of the world's largest museums and you have video data of artifacts, where are you going to keep that video, right? You're not going to store it on your Apple online storage, right? You need a company that you can trust will be around to store that data. If you're a museum, if you're a medical storage facility, if your government documents are top secret and you want to digitize them, the cloud is where you're going to do it. So I find a lot of my students holding shares of Microsoft, and I say, why are you holding those shares? Because those shares might make a better trade, right? I say, why are you holding those shares? And they say, well, I like the company. And I look at them and I say, you're passionate about data storage? Like, when did this happen? Now, not one single person in any level of my program has said, Tyrone, you don't understand. Data storage is my life. I've lived for data storage. When I was 6 years old, I was drawing pictures of computers going, someday everybody's going to put their data in this service. That has never happened. So sometimes people are holding stocks and they don't know why. Now, unless you're passionate about data storage, Microsoft shares should be a trade, right? However, most of you know I am most passionate about companies that process payments online. Why? I can see that billion-dollar business going into a trillion-dollar business. So I like those credit card companies and everybody who has their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to payment processing, right? Because I see the future. I see that there is a generational shift that is afoot right now. So most of you know I have two daughters. And my oldest daughter, is in college and almost done with college. And the youngest one is about to enter college. So I strolled into their room in the last holiday season. I said, do you guys want to go holiday shopping at the mall? And they say, Dad, the mall? I was like, yeah. They were like, we don't go to the mall to get our Christmas presents. I said, what do? They say, we shop online. If we don't like something, we simply send it back. You see, they represent a permanent generational shift in how consumers get their products. Now, it seems really obvious, like, well, Tyrone, tell us something that we don't know. Well, when you consider the billions of people who are my daughter's age worldwide who are shopping online and only know that shopping experience, that is telling you to own the stocks of the companies that actually process the payments. And I just don't mean the credit card companies, but the companies that are building the secure technology behind every credit card transaction. Who are they? Because they are benefiting and getting richer from licensing the technology that makes credit card processing secure. Do you get it? I am passionate about that because I see a business that's going from $1 billion to $1 trillion in less than a decade. So I want to own those stocks. The other reason I like the payment processor is they remind me very much of going over a bridge and paying a toll. Now, have you ever gone across a bridge in your car, gotten to the toll booth, and the person in the booth says, here's the rate, and you said, that's too expensive, and turn around and go in the opposite direction, right? It never happens, right? The toll taker always gets paid. Does that make sense? And I like that notion of participating in owning shares of people who are the toll takers. Because I like that story, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to read a press release when it comes out from the company. I'm going to comb through their earnings. I'm going to learn something about the CEO. I'm going to learn something about what we call in the stock market forward-looking statements. Where does the company see itself going in 5 years from now? The reason that I've made so much money in these payment processing stocks is because I'm connected to the story. People always say to me, how long do you spend researching a stock? Well, when you're connected to the story, the hours spent researching feel like minutes. And that's what I'm really trying to impress upon you here today. When you're connected to a story and how it makes its money, research is effortless. It's easy to do in an airport, right before you go to sleep, on a weekend when you have nothing to do. Let me read those quarterly reports or the press releases that came out this week so you become very much in the know because you like the business, right? Okay, so here, let me help you now in this process of wealth building with 3 things I think will help you in the long run make a lot of money. And the first question is, when you're looking at the stocks that you're holding right now, how many press releases did you read about the company this week? That's number 1. Number 2, where does the company see itself going in the next 5 years? Do you know how to read a forward-looking statement? Most of it is all online. Number 3, what do you know about the CEO? What other companies have they ran? How much money are they making? And what is their vision of the company? See, because when the CEO has a vision and the company starts forming partnerships, for example, you can assess, even though you're trading the shares, you can assess the future value of those shares based on partnership deals that are assigned. And then finally, what do you know about the sector as a whole, right? So we all know 50 years ago, the oil sector is where you wanted to be. You wanted to own stocks that were finding oil and refining it and distributing it all over the world. Today, the commodity is digital. What companies are heading fully into the digital revolution so that they can be worth $1 billion and then $1 trillion? You see, technology is changing so rapidly, you don't need me to tell you that. But the companies who are winning at the forefront, those are the ones that you want to own. Back in a moment.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
Hey, if you feel this podcast has helped change your life or influence you in a positive way, share it with a friend on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any social media that you have access to. It's a great way to help other people. As I say to you all the time, your trading education really begins at WITradeschool.com. It's like Netflix for traders. I have years and years and years of videos and strategies there that you are absolutely going to love. Start your membership right now at WITradeschool.com, and every week you can send me your trading questions, and I actually answer them inside that environment. Don't guess about stocks. Let me guide you step by step on how to choose them and how to trade them every single week at WI Trade School. Now, right before our break, we were talking about the things that you really need to be able to answer. What stocks are you passionate about? What stories do you like? What do you know about the sector? What do you know about the CEO? And how many press releases do you read? Now, when you first get started in the stock market, you're more interested in I just want to make as much money as I can. But once you calm down and you've mastered a disciplined approach, you want as much information as you can. Now, nobody knows really what a stock price will be in the future, but it's kind of like a puzzle. When you get good at putting together the puzzle and who strategically is a partner of company X, Y, and Z, you can start to see future revenues. One of the things that I really like is a great forecast of future revenues is anytime a company like Microsoft announces a long-term deal with the United States government. Why? Because that deal, that contract, if you will, in Microsoft's case, is usually worth anywhere from $5 to $20 billion over a 7-year period. Now, let me ask you a question. If the government hires you to start storing their data and you sign a 5-year deal for $7 billion, at the end of those 5 years, do you think the government is going to go to your Uncle Ray Ray's house and start storing the data? Probably not. They're probably going to re-sign with you for more services at a higher price. That is telling me that when I look at the top line revenue, Microsoft has a long-standing relationship with the United States government, and the revenue is probably going to increase over time. Therefore, the stock is going higher. How much is the stock going to advance in a 2 to 5 year period? Probably somewhere between 40 and 110%, depending upon other contracts that are signed in the future. So if I were a real fan of data storage, I'm waiting for the next government contract announcement. See, it's like we're putting pieces of the puzzle together, but we need a financial education in order to do that. When I'm in a sector like semiconductors, right, and let's say tariffs are placed on Chinese stocks like we saw a year and a half ago, that's going to slow down the revenue as a semiconductor manufacturer, right? So as a result, I may not want to heavily trade semiconductor stocks. Same thing with computer hardware companies. The best time to buy computer hardware companies when? Generally at the beginning of the year. Why? They get most of their sales at the end of the year during the fourth quarter. That's when Wall Street anticipates future revenues and you'll see the stock price rising. So you see these correlations that I'm introducing you to. We're not guessing. There are some historical norms in the stock market that allow us to make intelligent decisions about the stocks that we're trading and the stocks that we're investing. And the longer you stay with the Wealthy Investor Program and the Wealthy Investor approach to the stock market, you are able to predict these patterns right along with me. Now, the truth is, my ego wants to tell you that I'm such a smart guy and I've decoded the entire stock market. Well, am I a smart guy? Yes, I have some intelligence, but really everything that I've learned is based on how institutional traders and investors funnel money into the stock market. What tools do they use? I simply learn what those tools are. Institutional traders and investors generate hundreds of millions of dollars a year for their hedge fund, their college endowment, the insurance company, or the bank that they're trading for. And many of them have guidelines about future earnings and earnings growth based on revenue and contracts. If they're doing it, turns out you and I can do the same thing. That's because I am your guide, your interpreter to the stock market, and I want you to really learn these patterns so that you can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years for yourself. So there's a wonderful saying that I really love, which is success always leaves clues. And when we start to find those clues and follow them because they prove themselves out over time, you've just set the stage for success. So my time is almost up with you for this week's episode, but I'm going to ask you, how much time do you spend reading press releases every week? What do you know about the CEO? What do you know about a company's forward-looking statements and their partnerships? And what do you know about the sector? Now, although this work seems a little tedious at first, you'll find your ability to thoroughly answer the questions I just put forth are going to make you a lot of money. And my commitment to you as your favorite wealth coach is to help you generate as much wealth and monthly residual income as possible for you, your family, and the people that you love. So your success is something that you and I have in common. This is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor. I'll see you next time.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't know which stocks to choose for trading in today's market? No problem. Just follow Tyrone Jackson's hot stock picks inside WITradeschool.com. At WITradeschool.com, you can also follow Tyrone's weekly stock market tutorials and investing advice. Plus, each week you can submit your trading and investing questions directly to our staff, and Tyrone will answer them as part of our weekly video Q&A sessions. Begin your membership right now and you'll get instant access to WITradeschool.com's video library. That means you'll get to know all of Tyrone's major and minor trading strategies, including covered call writing and volatility trading for fast, sexy profits. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. In addition to his successful podcast, Tyrone's editorial content has been featured on CBSMoneyWatch.com, NASDAQ.com, and YahooFinance.com. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.